We got that mid-afternoon lighting. I kind of like it actually. Oh, hold on. The lights aren't on. Okay, hold on. Okay, I gotta stop staring at my manga collection, but have you ever read a manga that you just could not put down? What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is BoogieSnacks. You could go ahead and call me Boogie, and that is exactly what today's video is going to be all about. Now, I've been reading a lot of manga, so today's video is gonna go over just some of the manga that I have been binge reading or that I just couldn't put down. And at the very end, we will do some honorable mentions, so make sure you stick around for that. But if you guys like anime, manga, or just like the vibes here in general, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. I have a lot of fun videos planned for the year that I can't wait to show you. Before we go ahead and jump on into today's video, I want to ask you at home, what was the last manga series, or what was one of the manga series that you have read that you just had to binge read? You just couldn't put down. Okay, with that being said, we got a bunch of manga to get through. Let's go ahead and kick this video off. I'll see you in just a second. Oh, by the way, yeah, I binged Haikyu in all of its entirety in like 3 weeks. Now, I wish I bought all of the 45 volumes that encompass Haikyu, the sports anime and manga that is done very, very well, which we'll get to in just a second. I wish I bought them physically, but I read them digitally, and I read it incredibly quickly. So if you're not following me on Twitter, I highly recommend that you do so, because the Twitter folks know that I'm reading Haikyu, but by far Twitter is my most active social media platform. But I remember my Twitter arc reading Haikyu, and I just was popping off over on Twitter. Not only am I a fan of sports, anime, and manga, but I also played a lot of volleyball growing up. In fact, for those that don't know, volleyball is very prominent in my family. In fact, a lot of my uncles and even aunts, we all played volleyball growing up and into adulthood, college, and beyond. For me to read 45 volumes in 3 weeks, that is a feat in and of itself. Now, let me know if that's a lot for you, or if you're like, Boogie, those are amateur hours. You gotta get those numbers up.
Times, maybe. I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
This story, our main character is on the shorter side of life, but is proving that volleyball necessarily isn't all about height. And through hard work and dedication and teamwork and team building, we get to see a beautiful, beautiful ending to this story, which is another huge point for me. The ending of this manga is, it is good. For me personally, I think sticking the end to, anything is difficult, but especially in anime and manga, to have a very satisfying ending that a lot of people really dig is harder than it seems, and Haikyu just nails it right to a T. Another thing that really caught my eye with this manga and the anime, but the manga itself, was how the mangaka depicts movement. It's done very, very, very well, and it's incredibly easy to follow. I'm sure most of us have read either a shonen or a seinen or some sort of series where there's action or fast movement and you sort of don't know what's happening and you're sort of trying to make heads or tails, and the next thing you know, you have to flip the page and you're like, how did that happen? So overall, I have a feeling a lot of us have seen or read this series, but if you haven't, take this video as a sign. Please check it out, and I very much hope you enjoy the series. Okay, I have it here. Okay, I have it. Next here is a series that does not need any introduction on this channel. By far one of my favorite, most underrated series that I'm always asking you guys to check out, Hinamatsuri. Okay, if there's one thing I'm known for on YouTube, it's probably being that guy that's always asking people to check out Hinamatsuri, because I really want to see this series on more shelves.
You look like you want to tell me something. You look like you have something really important to say and you just can't for some reason. Whenever
I get a DM or an email on whatever social platform you guys are getting into contact with me on, that someone actually listened to me and they went out and they bought, a volume or two, found out that they liked it, and then just bulk purchased the rest of them, it just warms my heart. Now, this is volume 14 of Hinamatsuri, but there's gonna be 19 volumes in total, so it's a little bit of a commitment, but honestly, 19 volumes, somewhere around there, that's a good chunk of manga. I don't think that series is either too small or too big. I think that's like maybe my happy ground, 19, 20, 21, somewhere around there. I think that's a good amount for a series, especially a series like Hinamatsuri that isn't this grand, long, epic tale. Okay, hold on. Let me get volume 1. Is this volume 1? Okay, yeah, it's volume 1. Our main character, who mysteriously winds up in the home of an up-and-coming Yakuza boss, who is this character right here. Now, this up-and-coming Yakuza boss is, of course, well, in the Yakuza, so there is that element to his personality, but is a total sweetheart down inside. I don't think it's a spoiler to mention that Hina is not really from Earth, and there's going to be a lot of things that come into play with that aspect of her character. And then the story sort of evolves from there between the relationship of these two characters, and it sort of turns into a father-daughter type of relationship. So if you're looking for a new comedy slice of life, leaning more towards the slice of life, but does have some amazing comedic elements that also has some very serious undertones that have to do with both the main characters and the very quirky and adorable cast of supporting characters, look no further than Hinamatsuri. Okay, coming up next is a series that I actually keep up to date with on a weekly basis. Sometimes I space them out a little bit just so I can binge read a couple chapters at a time, but let's talk about very briefly my love for Black Clover. Currently, right now, Black Clover is ongoing with 327 chapters. Base premise of this story is that we have our main character, who is Asta, who in a world where magical ability is everything and that determines almost your status in society, Asta here, for some reason or another, which we won't get into why, has absolutely zero magical ability. And of course, like a good rival, Asta's brother is naturally incredibly gifted with magical senses and of course ability. Story really goes from there once Asta, through some way or another, which we won't get into spoilers, sort of gets accepted into a magical knights squad. If you're looking for really cool, unique characters, really good plot twists, story building, character arcs, I think Black Clover is definitely going to be for you. And to be honest, when a new chapter is released, I'm always forcing myself to either go home and read that chapter immediately or wait, because I like to read chapters at least 2 at a time. So I'm always stuck between this rock and a hard place of wanting to read the latest chapter, but then also having to have like 2 or more chapters at the same time. So is anyone else like that? Okay, for a second, we have to talk about Grand Blue Dreaming. Only thing that I can say that I don't like about this series is that the release schedule is so slow. So before I dive too much into the story of Grand Blue Dreaming, if you're anything like me, I am a huge fan of thought-provoking, deep, or dark seinens. Example could be Blade of the Immortal, Vinland Saga, Berserk, things of that nature. I will say, Grand Blue Dreaming is mature in the different sense. Series makes me laugh out loud. When was the last time you read a manga that you literally laughed out loud when you were reading it? Grand Blue Dreaming happens almost every volume. So if you are looking for a new comedy slice of life, heavy on the slice of life, where you're gonna learn a lot about diving, aquatic life, and just the chaos college life that our main cast of characters are going through, look no further than Grand Blue Dreaming. I will say this final volume is a thick boy. It felt very good when this came in the mail and I picked it up and I was like, yo, this is a good first volume. Is anyone like that when a last volume of a manga is a thick volume? For some reason or another, I don't know why I like that, but I like that. This series is one of those series that from the first volume I knew I was going to love, and to be honest, it kept me on my toes and entertained all the way up until the last page. There are plot twists in here, some things that happen with characters that are just so absolutely rewarding, the mystery, the lore. There's a lot of things that go into Ajin that they press all of the buttons that I like in a series. On the back of the final volume is like a manga panel. Now, I don't want to get into too much of what's on the back here just because this is the final volume, so anything about this is spoilers, but I just thought that that's really cool. When do you see manga on the back of volumes? Typically, you get like a little synopsis, but look at the stark difference here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you've never heard of Ajin, now is a beautiful time to get into the series because, like I've mentioned several times before, it is completed in 17 volumes. You can buy all of the volumes if you could find them right now. Now, in the story of Ajin, the story takes place here on Earth, but Earth isn't as it seems because we have the existence of these beings that walk, talk, look, feel, exist much like humans. They look exactly the same except for one very important difference. Those beings are called demi-humans. Without getting into spoilers, demi-humans can control a shadow-like being that humans cannot see called IBMs. Because of such abilities, these IBMs are feared and hunted from governments worldwide. Let's rewind to when our main character gets hit by a truck in the middle of a traffic intersection. Now we find our main character on the run trying to make sense of what is now happening to his life, who are his allies, who can he trust, and the political scheming and the mystery starts from there. I will say the manga is fantastic and I highly recommend it. Where's Chainsaw Man? Boogie, I saw that you bought all of Chainsaw Man. We're not gonna go over it in this video, but rest assured there's a huge video coming out on Chainsaw Man and it's absolutely bingeable, highly recommend it. Before we get into honorable mentions for the video, I want to talk about for one brief second, One Punch Man. Some of the best art I have ever seen, period, in manga. Why it took me this long to check out One Punch Man. Guys, you have been recommending One Punch Man since literally my first video. I just started reading it. Absolutely phenomenal. I cannot put down my tablet. I am reading it digitally. I would like to collect it all physically at one point down the road, but I'm kind of collecting a lot of things right now, so we'll cross that bridge when we need to. Currently, I believe there's 158 chapters out, so there's a lot of material to sink your teeth into, and I'm absolutely obsessed with One Punch Man. I'll say another thing that I do enjoy about One Punch Man is the calm between the storm scenes. Basically where they can insert comedic relief, or it's very slice of lifey, or there's a lot of story happening before these grand epic battles. I very much like those scenes. This series is chock filled with phenomenal characters, great villains, phenomenal action, beautiful art. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, so let's quickly move to the part of the video where I want to do honorable mentions. These are going to be series where I am almost done collecting them and I'm planning a binge read, or I just started reading the series. And I think number one, and this is probably a title you guys have been waiting for me to talk about this entire video, is going to be One Piece. The only reason we're talking about One Piece in the honorable mentions and not the main part of the video is because I stopped reading a while ago so that I can do a proper binge read of Wano. But now it's getting to the point where I have to start reading it because it's almost impossible now, at least for me, to avoid any spoilers online. So I think I'm getting ready to bite the bullet and I'm just going to get completely caught up with One Piece. And when that happens, of course, that will be a giant binge read for myself. Okay, I gave you guys a challenge on Twitter and that challenge was met, so I will be starting tonight the first 2 volumes of My Dress Up Darling. So I have a feeling I'm really gonna like this one. I will let you know my thoughts and opinions on My Dress Up Darling in the near future. If you aren't following me on Twitter, I highly recommend that you do so. Of course, links to all of that will be down below, but I am very much looking forward to starting this series. The hype has almost been impossible to ignore, so I finally bit the bullet. And let's see what all the hype is about. I will keep you updated with this one. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this one down below in the comments, okay? So, My Dress Up Darling. Let's quickly move on. Okay, so the final series, I am almost done collecting it. It's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey. I am going to binge read this so quickly once I get my hands on the last few volumes that I need. This is Dorohedoro. I am all about Dorohedoro right now. It is almost laser focus. I want to collect this series in its entirety. I cannot wait to binge read it. It's that dystopian, sci-fi, mystery, action, thriller sort of genre that I'm absolutely in love with, and I'm looking for more series in this similar vein of Dorohedoro. From the art, to the mystery, to the plot twists, to the story, to the character building, everything that goes into Dorohedoro, I'm a huge fan of. I loved the anime, I love the OP, the ending is even great, the ending music is even great as well. Dorohedoro, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. I'm almost done collecting it. I have the final volume. I even got volume 1 now. I'm just missing a few in between, so wish me luck, and I will let you know my thoughts and opinions when I actually do my binge read for this, which should be very soon. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and wrap things up here, but before I let you guys go, I would like to invite you to the Discord. Our community over on Discord has been rapidly growing and has become a home for a lot of new people. So if you are interested in perhaps making some new friends in the Discord, showing off your manga collection, perhaps getting notifications for streams, or any of the events we do on stream or in Discord, you can go to discord.gg/BoogieSnacks, or of course, links for all of this will be down below. I'm also streaming a lot on Twitch these days, so if you want to come over and say hi, I highly recommend you do so, and I would love to meet you. Of course, links to all of that will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to go ahead and support the channel, go ahead and mash that like button down below. It lets me know that you're watching at home and I can continue to make more content just like this. And of course, as always, nothing has changed. If you'd like to stick around for more videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you in the community. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good night.